Hello there and welcome back to another video where today not only will we be going over every single minifigure that Star Wars released brand new for this year, so that doesn't include any new combinations. We're looking at brand new minifigures for 2023, but we'll also towards the end be comparing them to all the minifigures we got last year, 2022, and seeing if the minifigures we got this year were any better, any worse, or were they about the same. So let's get straight to looking at these minifigures. So here we have all of the brand new minifigures that I have picked up this year, and there's not that many, but I have mocked out a few, so we'll be getting to that halfway into this video, and then right at the end comparing them to last year. Now I think it's a bit difficult to go over all these minifigures as they are now, so I'll definitely have to order them somehow, and I think the best one to start off with is the battle packs. Now we did get, I think we actually got 3 battle packs this year. I think there was a snowtrooper one, it might have been last year, but no new figs. Actually it must have been last year because I think we did get a new scout trooper with it, but either way that was last year. This year we got 2 battle packs that we're going to be looking at, and that is the 332nd battle pack and the 501st battle pack. Across the two there were 5 new figures, and you may look at this and go, didn't we get a 332nd in the Star Wars AAT? And well, you're right, we did get 332nd trooper, but that 332nd clone trooper did not have helmet holes, and honestly that is the main difference. These figures did come with backpacks, but as far as the figures go, they are new for their helmet holes, which they weren't exactly used by the regular clone troopers, but the reason we got helmet holes with the 332nd this time around was because of this captain here. You can see he does sport the captain insignia on his chest plate, and this is because this minifigure is Captain Vaughn from the Clone Wars. It's great that we're getting a named captain, and especially in a battle pack, because you can just take off this visor and give him a regular head and perhaps swap out this captain torso with one of your other 501st minifigures, and it is still a great army builder. Now buying this set alone, I can see some people might have a little problem and would have preferred Vaughn to have come in a bigger set, but there were no other sets. We got 332nds in, and I'm really not fussed with that captain insignia. You can even hide that amongst your armies if you're building a really large mock. So it's nice that we got Captain Vaughn with 3 of the 332nd troopers. And as I said, 2 battle packs come out. We also got a Battlefront 2 battle pack, which we haven't actually seen since the Iden Versio and Inferno Squad battle pack. That was a lovely battle pack, but we did indeed get some 501st troopers sporting their specialist design, officer design and heavy design from in-game. The specialist has that specialist marking on the torso, of course making it special from everyone else, and also these macro binoculars, which are a brand new Lego element, and perhaps it would have been nice to have got a printed black stripe on the front, but really it's not a deal breaker for me. I absolutely love that piece, especially if I'm ever going to create an Umbara mock, which hopefully we'll get to see an Umbara ship released from Lego some point soon, especially next year for 25 years, though really we're going to need 25 more years just to release all the sets that I want to get next year. But I really do like these macro binoculars, and overall the minifigure hasn't got too much special. We do get these pieces in the set, however the backpacks do come, I believe, with the heavy trooper. We get 2 heavy troopers in this set, 1 specialist, 1 officer, and we don't only get the 2 backpacks that come on the heavies, but also a 3rd printed tile spare, so I've given mine to the specialist, and it is a really good piece. You can see a lot of detail. Originally I 3D printed a few of these for my clones, and honestly that shape is hard to get, so they did definitely do it right making that 8 1x1 printed tile, because the backpack shape is just horrible to get in Lego form. And the heavy does have this blue visor on a brand new helmet with the helmet holes. Of course, all clones going forward, I suppose, should have the helmet holes. It just keeps all the helmet molds the same. Eventually, hopefully, we get a bit more of a accurate helmet mold that gets rid of this extra bump a bit lower than where it should be. But it's not that big a problem for me, and in order to have all my clone helmets the same, I wouldn't mind keeping that just to match with the rest. It also creates a nice place for the visor to lie and stops the visor being pushed too far down and pieces breaking. But as I said, a brand new helmet. You can see there's some darker lines on the helmet, and specifically just up here where normally there's just the blue. We're getting some black stripes not only outlining it but also going up the middle of the blue. Now on the box art, all these helmets had lines that just look way too thick. I think it was this line that goes around their temple here just at the front. It looked way too thick, and I'm so happy that we didn't get that on the actual minifigures. But this officer here, same helmet as before and as we've seen in previous 501st Battle Packs, just with the little rangefinder or viewfinder on the top. And it would have been nice to have seen a few of the flashlight pieces that we saw way back in the old Battle Packs, but I think they're just too small to lose and a bit too fragile for LEGO to create nowadays. But hopefully we get to see them return. We've seen these macro binoculars, so really anything is possible. Now, the Heavy does have a brand new torso to represent the Heavy. Again, very much like it shows up in the game, both on the front and I think the back for most of these clones are similar. But the Heavy does have the extra straps that is mirrored on the back. So it's a very nice figure, and they did include two Heavies. No assaults because, of course, an assault trooper is just the regular clone trooper that we get. So you can use your 501st troopers from other battle packs, and I'm sure we'll get more 501st next year. Hopefully, we'll see Rex drop in a cheaper set, but Heavies and assaults do make up most of the Grand Army of the Republic, so it makes sense we're only getting one specialist, one officer, and a few more Heavies to increase the army. We might even see these return in another set just to add a bit of variety to clone troopers, as I'm not really sure they can add a 501st Airborne Trooper. I don't think we've seen it in any content. Now, last but not least, we do have the officer here, and what might stand out to the officer is the Karma. In fact, you might not have even noticed the Karma as it is printed on the legs here. You can see just on the left and right. It would have been very nice to have got it on the side of the leg, though. As I'm about to say with the Imperial Stormtrooper, if they start printing arm printing, leg printing on all these clones and troopers, it's going to be expected, and they just make too many to have that much detail just yet. I'm very happy we're getting back printing on pretty much every single figure. I don't remember the last time I picked up the figure and they didn't have back printing, and even toe printing is fairly new for this new generation of clones. So perhaps some point in the future they'll do arm and leg printing. I think arm printing will definitely be the first one, as we've seen with Captain Rex and a few other specialist figures. But eventually I cannot wait for the day where they're just printed all over, and who knows, maybe even LEGO will start printing on gloves. That could be absolutely crazy. But right now I'm very happy for the toe print and the back printing, and they are the 5 new minifigures from the Star Wars Battle Packs. So I guess it only makes sense to stay with the cheaper sets. In fact, we're actually getting a bit cheaper than the Battle Packs with the new mech minifigures, which honestly, I love mechs generally. Star Wars mechs, of course, are just gonna be amazing. But right here we have 3 new minifigures for the LEGO Star Wars mechs. We have the Stormtrooper, Boba Fett, and Darth Vader himself. Now, Darth Vader did technically come out in, I think the TIE Bomber was the first set, and even the Throne Room Duel came out before the mech. But this is a brand new Vader in that he's got a new headpiece. It's a very detailed headpiece. I really like the stone cold look he has, and actually is the second new headpiece we've got in the last 2 years, as last year we got an exclusive Burn Anakin which came in one of the Kenobi sets. But this minifigure is a bit more accessible, and I really just like the detailing. The back of his head no longer looks like a Neapolitan ice cream, so they have removed that to try and get it more accurate, and it's definitely the sort of face he pulls at the end of Return of the Jedi when Luke takes off his mask so he can lay his eyes on his son for the first time, at least. First time without having this helmet with its piercing red lights and everything else. Now, it's a bit hard to see the details on my camera as it is a black minifigure, but it's the same Vader we've got for the last few years. He does have some very nice arm printing, which you can see glow in the camera light. And I don't really think they've even changed his torso or anything. It'd be nice to see a few different variants, some with his tunic over his shoulder plates and a few different chest plates. But for now, I'm very happy with the Vader minifigure. And honestly, the head was really the only thing they could improve. And the next new minifigure is this Imperial Stormtrooper. Now, a few comments did point out in my review video that not the head was backwards. I don't know why the head was backwards, but this face here we've seen on Scout Troopers and a few other Imperials. So it's not new to be used for the Imperial Trooper, but for the Imperial Stormtrooper precisely is a new combination. The main thing is the combination of the helmet with this torso and legs. These are the torso and legs we got last year for the Trash Compactor diorama, only we got Luke and Han's face on them instead. They didn't come with helmets, so this is a brand new Stormtrooper, and one of the biggest differences is the white hip piece, taking a leaf out of the Republic's clone book. It's matching the clones. It makes sense. They are sort of the next generation of clones. Phase 1, Phase 2, Stormtroopers, well, eventually down the line. But I do like it more than the black hip piece, and think it just makes the Stormtrooper stand out a bit more, and actually the hip piece not stand out. Now, it would be nice if the hip pieces were printed and we got a continuation of the belt, but for customization and to allow people to have either white or black hip pieces, it does sort of make sense that they'd print the belt completely on the torso, though I definitely don't think that Lego are going to do this forever, and at some point might start printing the hip pieces, but we don't see it for clones. I don't think we're going to see it for troopers just this soon. And you'll notice I've cleared way for Boba Fett. This honestly might be one of the best minifigures released this year. It was for a mech, exclusive to that mech. Empire Strikes Back Boba, not Return of the Jedi, so there's no real need to include him in any of the sets soon. I mean, it'll be a while before we get another anniversary for Empire Strikes Back, or actually that's only 2 years away, but still 2 years is a while, and we've got some really nice arm printing. But don't be fooled by the arm printing. This isn't the last Boba we got with some new arm printing. In fact, the helmet is pretty similar. I think this actually might be a new design of the helmet since we last got an Empire Strikes Back Boba, but helmet has been used before. Likewise, the face underneath is similar to the new Boba Fett faces we've got. It's in the similar shade of skin color at least, but that is a brand new face print. Likewise, a brand new torso print, brand new hip print, brand new legs prints, and even the back of Boba's torso is completely brand new for this minifigure. They've actually gone all out for this Boba mech. We also got an awesome build for the mech and an exclusive 2x2 representing this new printing on Boba's torso, and I don't think anyone was expecting this. I'm really hopeful that next year for Luke's mech, we not only get the arm printing, but we also get them dual molded legs, as they're definitely going to include the arm printing with that minifigure, and I can't wait to see all the other arm printing that comes out. I mean, Vader's had arm printing for a while now, but all these other minifigures are getting arm printing, and as I said, back printing is common now. Toe printing come around in the last few years. I can't wait to see all the main characters having arm printing in the next few years. It's awesome to see, and hopefully Luke does have the dual molded legs, as we're seeing characters like Spider-Man include them all the time now, and dual molded legs are so common. It's not like side of the leg printing. I really do want a dual molded orange and black legs for the pilot Luke, but I guess we'll have to see next year and see which other mechs are coming out with him. Now, you've seen the Battle Pack minifigures and you've seen the mech minifigures, but did you know there is still a cheaper minifigure we are yet to come across? Exactly how cheap, you may be wondering. Well, I picked this minifigure up for £7 pre-ordered, and that is the Luke Skywalker that come with the 2024 annual. Now, you can see that the printing on his torso is very nice. He's got not dual molded legs, but they do print the black trousers underneath. Of course, underneath he's wearing his costume that we see later on towards the throne room door. In fact, I actually think he has that exact costume on underneath. He might have the costume from earlier on in Return of the Jedi, but either way, it's a minifigure that we saw. It was exclusive to the Endor Speeder with the helmet, and now we've seen it with the older Luke hairpiece in the annual. And of course, I had to buy this new Luke hairpiece from the throne room door and add it to him just to make him look that much better. In fact, in the Advent this year, we saw not only Emperor Palpatine in his nice jumper and also got a Christmassy Ewok, but Leia from that exact same diorama. And just to put the cherry on the cake, we also got the Scout Trooper in a magazine, which was about £3. So You could have picked the Advent up after Black Friday for £20. Luke was £7 in the Advent. The Scout Trooper was £3. All three characters for £30, which is under half of what you'd pay for the diorama. Of course, you're getting none of the bricks with it, but if you can put together your own trees and shrubbery, it probably looks just as good. But again, the Leia minifigure is really cool. It's somewhat of a shame that we didn't get ponchos with them and got their other outfits underneath, but at the same time, I really like having a dedicated minifigure for this outfit. It'd be like saying, well, Leia's ceremony minifigure could just have a necklace around her usual attire. And I like the fact that LEGO have decided to dedicate their own minifigures to this scene, especially when the scene they come in, they are wearing this Endor gear, and it wouldn't make sense to them to have a poncho that can't be removed. And we'll quickly go over Palpatine because he does have that new face print that we saw first in the Throne Room diorama. So a load of Throne Room exclusives are being thrown around. Palpatine does, in the Throne Room diorama, have these updated printed legs that we see here, and also a torso that's updated. Of course, doesn't have the red sweater with the Death Star on, but he does get an updated torso. Likewise with Luke, not only does he get an updated hairpiece, but also an updated torso and legs to match. In fact, his legs are probably just plain black, so there might not be any printing on them, but he definitely gets an updated torso. Now, we're slowly trickling up the price chain of LEGO as we get to a £30 set. Kenobi Starfighter, we get obviously a new Kenobi. He does have a normal face on the other side without his controls, and does actually come with a hood in this set. A great minifigure. I really like the way they've printed his Jedi tunic on top of this brown torso, which represents his robes, and we even get some details on the back. However, because he does come with his hood, unlike the old Ben minifigure that came with the hood printed on, they didn't include it, as I guess it would just look weird with the hood piece and the hood on the back. Two hoods, it just doesn't work for a Jedi robe. We also get his astromech R4P17. Please do feel free to correct me in the comments if I am wrong. I think that's his droid, but R4 doesn't have any back printing like R2 did last year and continues to this year. Likewise, we got a droid in the Yavin set, which didn't come with any back printing, so hopefully we see it soon, because they did just reuse a recolored version of R2 for the front and would have that same design to reuse on the back. But overall, it's a nice droid. I do like the color of the top dome there and the fact that it's continued onto the bottom, as the last time we saw a red R2 unit, it was just the red dome and actually included R2's exact same body, though it was included in a version of the Sandcrawler, so I guess they could be a little looser with the design. But the best minifigure from this set, of course, is the Kaminoan. I think this is Tarn Wei to be precise, but of course this couldn't represent nearly any Kaminoan, and I'm sure many of you have bought multiple versions of this set to get them multiple Kaminoans, and I'd love to see a few more in a Bad Batch set perhaps, as the Kaminoans, I guess, are mostly wiped out, but we've still got one that remains, and I suppose they could always do a set on a previous series. But this minifigure is amazing. We've got a double-sided dress piece on the bottom, which differs to the slopes we used to get. It is the height of the legs. I'm not sure how many people know this, but it is exactly one plate shorter than the typical slope piece, just to get that LEGO minifigure height to be the same. But it's a great headpiece. This is all one sort of dual mold, I guess. We've got the neck molded in this nice bluish greyish colour, and this headpiece in white with some very nice accurate printing to represent the Kaminoan. So try not to behead her again, but I think this is honestly up there with a Boba Fett. I guess no arm printing, no side of the dress piece printing, which, oh, that's a mouthful. But it's definitely a minifigure we were long overdue, and having received it even in the Complete Saga original LEGO game, it's a nice minifigure to finally have, a bit like the Gamorrean that we got updated last year in Boba Fett's palace. And for our final trip up the price ladder, we of course have the Young Jedi Adventures minifigures. Now, this was a at least £40 set. I managed to pick it up £30 day one because Smiths received a damaged box. So thank you to whoever damaged that box. It enabled me to pick it up, and I have created a few custom characters such as Nubs. If you want to see that video, it's up on the channel. Likewise, videos for all these other minifigures. But The training droid has nothing special besides the dome. The dome is very nice. It actually reminds me of that new droid we get in the Ahsoka set. A little different, but definitely if you have a blue droid body, you can slap that on there, and that's pretty much your custom sorted. It looks very nice. It's somewhat of a enlarged BB-8 head, but definitely a nice addition to this set. The other three minifigures are the main grab, as we have a Old Republic era Yoda minifigure, which you can use Luke's torso from the sequels to recreate, but it's nice getting a dedicated minifigure with the hood, again, printed on the back, as there is no hood piece that accommodates Yoda's ears, at least not in making this video. We also get Lise and Kai, I believe, from the show, and these are two of the younglings. We get Nubs and the pilot in the recent set coming out January the 1st, 2024. But it's nice to have got two younglings in this set. We did get 4 minifigures if you include the training droid, which of course I do. Droid lives do matter too. And they've got completely new printing for the fronts and backs of their torso, including a nice little colour strip at the top for their capes, and even the hairpiece. I believe these are brand new molds for the hairpiece to represent the characters in universe, and probably even new face prints, especially for Lise and her blue head. But we get some of the nice 3/4 legs so they can actually sit down on the speeder bike included in the set, and likewise I think there's another speeder in the new set. They're great minifigures. It is quite a funny show, of course aimed at a much younger audience, but I still enjoyed it, and honestly these minifigures are definitely worth picking up the set. Now, that might have been all the minifigures I actually picked up from official LEGO sets, but here are all the ones I mocked out throughout the year, and I'm going to have to tackle it first, otherwise I'm going to get loads of comments just asking what the minifigure is. This one here with the T-Rex head, this is my custom Rex minifigure. I didn't have a helmet for Rex, so what better helmet to use than the T-Rex from the CMF minifigure, and I did this for the UCS Venator that came out with a Rex and Yularen, and they'll have pictures perhaps over to the left hand side so I can get a better lighting for these minifigures. You can see my Yularen does look pretty cool. I do like the dual molded legs for the Imperial and Republic officers, but Rex is looking a bit different to his official LEGO minifigure, and hopefully we get to see both more Imperial and Republic officers, as I really want to pick up the TIE Bomber in the new year for that Sloane figure, as well as just the build. It's a really great build, and I've actually just made a mock for Vader's Advance, which is up on Rebrickable, but there will be a video coming in the new year, and I think I definitely need to pick up an official Rex minifigure at some point. But then we also had the Yavin set, which came out with Luke and Han in their ceremony gear. Now, I do have the torsos from the visual dictionaries that I've updated, as the minifigures have been updated themselves, but you do get some really nice metal pieces that I have to look on Rebrickable, because you do get some spares in the set, so I suppose someone's got to be selling their spares for slightly cheaper, and they'll just make fine additions to these minifigures. You can see again the officials on the left, but again the rest of these minifigures are all from Ahsoka. I'm not quite sure why I said again, as we haven't covered any Ahsoka minifigures, because I just weren't really a fan of the sets. I had enough minifigure parts to create customs, and when you got customs of all the minifigures, there's no real point to buying the set. The builds weren't too good compared to the Coruscant gunship, the Ghost, and all the other sets I'm looking at buying in the new year. But you can see I've created a custom of Ahsoka the White rather than Ahsoka the Grey, and in fact, I'll just line up all these minifigures and put their official versions on the left-hand side, because we got loads of minifigures, Ahsoka and Sabine. We even got a custom Huyang in a minifigure form, which debatably would have been nicer to have got an official droid character rather than a minifigure build, but it does look amazing nonetheless. We also got Baylan Skull and Shin Hati. We even got Shin Hati's ship, which they did really nicely, and I'm really loving the colours, and of course Morgan Elsbeth, who did show up previously in Mandalorian. But all their minifigures are pretty cool. It's nice that they included them in about 3 or 4 sets, and especially that Ghost with Hera, the Ghost crew, and the other new Republic officers. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on that as soon as I can. But how do these minifigures compare to last year's? Well, I did mention that we did get some back printing for R2-D2 last year. In fact, got a clean and dirty version for his Dagobah Swamp Accident and just a regular R2-D2. And it would be nice to get some backprinting for droids. We haven't seen that this year. This droid's been plain, and though R2 did come with backprinting in Yoda's Starfighter, we haven't seen it for any of the new astromechs. So hopefully some point soon we'll get some backprinting for all of the other droids. And our May 4th minifigures were non-existent this year for the X-Wing. Perhaps they could have included a new officer that we haven't seen before, or even another X-Wing pilot in the updated form. Dual molded legs like we saw Luke with in the UCS X-Wing. But last year with the Landspeeder UCS set, we did get Aunt Beru, and hopefully next year we do get another minifigure. I am going to save one of the bigger sets I want for May the 4th, just in case we get some really good gift with purchases. Now, of course, every year we get some Advent figs, though last year we did get 3 exclusive, because not only did we get the 2 Christmas, we also got Vader in his summer getup. So it'll be interesting to see next year if LEGO have any specials planned, if they'll work a bonus minifigure into the Advent. But of course, we got nothing this year. In fact, there was some for Marvel, so it's a bit of a disappointment we didn't get an exclusive Marvel figure from their Code Red show. And last year we did get BD1, we got BD72, which was a blue version, and Todo 360 with Cad Bane ship. Though this year we didn't get any new molds, we did get 3 brand new printed domes. In fact, there were 4. There was 1 in the Yavin set, there was 1 in this training set, there was then 1 in Kenobi Starfighter, and we even got 1 in the new E-Wing shuttle. So we did get 4 new domes. It's nice to see we're still getting quite a few new droids every year. And as far as arm printing goes, last year we saw C-3PO with arm printing, and he even had a dual molded leg in the UCS Landspeeder. Now, I guess there weren't really any big expensive sets to include 3PO with a dual molded leg, though we did get the arm printing in a magazine, so it's quite nice to still be getting the 3PO arm printing, and just goes to show that 3PO's arms and R2-D2's back aren't going to stop being printed anytime soon. And I did mention about Vader's head being a scratched up burnt Anakin last year as an exclusive, and of course this year we then have the new older Vader. Likewise with Boba, they've given him a new head for his younger version, rather than just giving him the same old head that the old Boba got from the Book of Boba Fett, which honestly LEGO would have done about 10-15 years ago. So it's really nice that they're including time-specific heads on all their new minifigures. And like with last year, we got some fan favourite minifigures in different eras. I think we got Cad Bane, we got Bib Fortuna, and we even got Fennec Shand in the same set as Bib Fortuna. It's nice to get a Old Republic era or High Republic era Yoda even, and even some younglings that we can put around the Jedi Temple, really at any era of time. And though I don't have the Rex, I do have the Vaughn. Last year we got Cody. We're getting a load of named clone troopers. Love to get some more named clone troopers from the Clone Wars, not just Season 7, but throughout the entire Clone Wars, such as Fives, Jesse, so many good 501st troopers that we're still yet to get in minifigure form. Likewise with clone troopers, we got the 332nd and the 501st this year. Well, last year we got the 212th and Windows 187th, I think it was, Clone Legion. So it's nice to be getting a few different Clone Legions each year. In fact, we even got a Jock Trooper, but I'll be getting that in the battle pack in the new year if I don't already have the Coruscant Guard by then. But it'll be less than a week away, so hopefully that order does arrive soon and I can review it here on the channel and look at next year's 2 new Clone Legions. Well, at least the new Phase 2 Shinies and the 212th that we got this year, but it's new to me. And speaking of exclusive minifigures, of course, we're getting some of the older minifigures that are coming back for new sets. I think last year the UCS Razor Crest brought back Quill and the Blurgs and a few other minifigures from Mando. It's nice to see the Attack of the Clone sets. Of course, this year Attack of the Clones is now over 20 years old, so it's just nice to get a few of the minifigures from things that have already been released in years past, in this case over 20 years ago, and just nice to know that LEGO haven't completely stopped making older minifigures. Speaking of older minifigures, of course, we've got some new updated designs here in the Stormtrooper, and we've got Endor, Luke, and Leia. Last year, we got a bunch of Kenobi figures because, of course, the Kenobi show came out. That was very popular and did quite well. few of the sets were questionable, but they definitely put out lots of content. Unlike Andor and 40 years of Return of the Jedi, that's exactly what they did this year. The Endor diorama, the throne room diorama, and honestly, so many other sets. So it's very nice what they've done. Of course, next year is not only 25 years of Lego Star Wars, but 25 years of Phantom Menace. So I do expect the prequels to get the same treatment and hope we can actually get some minifigures for the Phantom Menace updated, and that will play into that year's advent calendar, I'm sure, just like with Leia, the Ewok, Palpatine, and even getting Luke in the annuals. So I do hope we are seeing many different Phantom Menace minifigures return next year, especially some updated designs like the Queen of Naboo herself would be lovely as a minifigure. But I did predict next year's advent with a few minifigures I would like to see on Christmas Day, so be sure to check that out if you are interested. And as always, may the bricks be with you.